Hello there, welcome back to the channel, Loving Life on Less. My name is Liz, and today we're going to take a little bit of a step back in time to the Great Depression. The Great Depression was a period of worldwide economic depression between 1929 and 1939. There was a historic stock market crash, banks closing, mass unemployment, prices went up and wages came down, construction stopped, and families were starving. It hit America particularly hard, with there being 25% unemployment. That's 1 in every 4 adults unemployed. There was extreme demand, not enough produce, and hyperinflation. Prices of food basics rocketed. People lost their houses, and many moved to constructed huts called Hoovervilles that were just made of cardboard, tar paper, glass, lumber, tin, and what other materials people could salvage. Food kitchens sprang up to help feed the unemployed and starving families. Sadly, some didn't survive the Great Depression, but many did and came through such a difficult period of time, very resolute, stronger, and more determined than ever before. Folks from this era had it very difficult, and they're very often referred to as the backbone of America. Strong, resourceful, passionate, and proud. This short video is about some of the economic, financial, and survival tips they used during the Great Depression that helped them get through. It was a necessity to grow what you could to eat. It wasn't optional. From herbs to flavour food, to potatoes being a staple. If it was edible and you could grow it, it was planted. You would not waste food because there wasn't food to be wasted. Every spare scrap of food was used, from cooking burns, even making a soup from vegetable peelings and scraps that we would normally just put in the bin. Energy and water, anything that cost money, had a limited supply, so that wouldn't be wasted. Again, every single utility would only be used if necessary and sparingly. So grown foods or surpluses of foods weren't wasted, they were preserved, and this could be canning, putting jars, dehydrating, pickling, or preserving. Many of these old styles of preserving foods are actually coming back into fashion today, and natural remedies from the garden were used for health issues, such as vinegar, lemon, mint, oregano, nettles. All those items can be used for alternative health medicines. Cleaning products were also often handmade, and that would be vinegar and water, and of course, elbow grease. People quickly learned new skills, DIY skills, when they were having to fix and repair things. If you couldn't fix it, it just wasn't replaced. There wasn't the money and there wasn't the supplies. Barter and exchange became a form of payment, and it was often used. Skills would be swapped for food, and people would offer a full day of labour just for food. That's how short food was. No extra money exchanged hands, a day's labour just for your meals. Repairing clothes was the only option. Again, there wasn't the supplies. So people turned to using every single scrap of fabric to make dresses, aprons. Beyond repair, old adult clothes would be cut down and made into children's clothes. And very often, people would only have one set of clothes outside of their night attire. Clothing was patched with old rags, and shoes could often be resoled with old tyres. Shoes were hard to come by and expensive, so it wouldn't be uncommon to see children playing outside without footwear. Tools and machinery were fixed with parts that didn't belong to those machines. Everything was bodged together and made to work. If your town was particularly rife with employment, men would often travel for work, almost having a migrant life. Sometimes even full families would be made to travel. They had to follow the work or the possibility of work and money. If they'd have stayed where they were, they could have starved to death. As always, humanity came through, and very often families would move into one home with less costs, put all their resources together and work together. People helped people. It was the time for community, friendship, and strength in numbers. Without each other, they may not have survived. If you had livestock, it was precious. It was a family's life or death. to have this livestock. However, if your animals weren't grazers or the land wasn't plentiful, the animals had to make do with cheap supplementation that could have led to illness or discomfort. It was just so important to try and keep your livestock in tip-top condition under such dire circumstances. Hunting and foraging when necessary to supplement foods, and people became skilled in identifying plants, collecting plants, and using those plants for food. And of course, hunting. Hunting skills, fishing, shooting were never so popular. No matter your age, you were expected to help and contribute. Small children would help around the house or feed the animals if you were lucky enough to have them, and old people would peel vegetables, they'd help in the kitchen, they'd fix things, and stronger, younger people would be out gardening, digging, growing, looking for employment, fixing and mending. Everybody worked together. Being work shy or lazy just didn't exist. Community food gardens were common and vital. One garden could feed many families, and so everybody worked towards making sure this garden was kept pestilence free, was watered, tended to, weeded, and looked after. Days were hard, work was hard, food was scarce. Yet it didn't stop the people keeping strong in their faith and knowing that cleanliness was next to godliness, and personal hygiene and keeping your home clean was still paramount even in these difficult times. It was also vital for avoiding disease and sickness. And of course, even in those very dark days, having pride in yourself was so important to self worth. People stayed strong. They had Herb and they had God, and they focused on each single day that they would be able to get through, praying and believing that one day they would be able to get through these difficult times and the sun would shine on them again. There are three things we can learn from the Great Depression era of their strategies for making do with very little and surviving. Number one, try and be as self sufficient as possible. Community can help, but the very basics start with you. Full self sufficiency, or living off grid as they call it, is a very rare achievement these days. But every single plant that you can eat, that you can grow, every single debt you pay off is one step closer to being self sufficient. Number two, reuse, recycle, repair, reduce. All these things were necessities. We don't have to do those these days. But if we want to look after our money and get closer to self sufficiency, they are vital things to do. Number three, waste nothing. Always try and repurpose items if they've worn out. Look for other ways of utilising them. Even rotten food can be made into compost and can feed your garden. Having a frugal, more self sustained, non wasteful life is great for you. It's great for your family, it's great for your community, and it's amazing for the earth. Do you have any memories from relatives that lived through the Great Depression, or stories from relatives that lived through the Great Depression? It'd be great to hear them. They were such tough, resourceful people, and we can still learn so much from them right now in times where finances are being strained and we don't know when it'll end. But we know it will end. So batten down your hatches, folks. Stay strong. We can get through this. If you like old style living, frugal budgets and prepping, there's a fantastic channel I've discovered, and some of you will have already been subscribers. It's Mornings with Granny. There's intrinsic wisdom and frugal things I hadn't even considered. I will leave a link below, so definitely check out Mornings with Granny. Thank you for being with me today. I hope you enjoyed that little trot out into the past. If you like our content, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll be with you again very soon. Wherever you are, we hope you have the most amazing and wonderful day. Take care, folks. Bye for now.